I hope everyone can hear me now.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, so I mean, I said this, what you can see on your screen now is the basis of our conversation today. And so I found a way to, I mean, because I know that there are two categories of people in the audience, right? There are career professionals and business owners. So I have found a way to merge, the two together, So what I'm going to be addressing, what I'm going to be saying now applies both to you if you're a career professional, if you're a job seeker, if you're a business owner. So for if you can see my screen, you see that what you can see an image here and the 7 elements of a client's / employer decision journey. Yes. So now these elements are basically, I mean, if you understand what design thinking is, it means thinking from the perspective of the user. So design thinking is a methodology that was used, that is being used in product design. You understand? So I have over the years identified the following 6 journeys that people follow, employers and clients follow before making a decision. So there are 7 journeys, 7 elements, which represents the steps that clients and employers follow, before doing business or before hiring you. So the first is they have to be aware of you, right? So the first is awareness. They have to know who you are. The second is they have to understand. So that's what is in the image. So they have to understand what you do and how you and your organization, if you're a business person, are unique. Now, the third is they have to have an interest in what you do, and it has to be relevant and potentially valuable. So what you do has to be valuable to them before they can hire you or before they can decide to work with you. So I'll explain how this goes into LinkedIn. So let me just take those steps one by one, then I'll translate it to LinkedIn marketing and LinkedIn for career development. So now the first is they have to respect your professional expertise and believe that you can help them. Now the fifth is they have to trust that you're honest, and then they have to believe that you have their best interest at heart. Then they have to have the funds and the support and the ability to be able to hire you or to be able to buy from you. Then 7, it has to be a priority for them and they have to be ready to engage you. So now, when we look at these 7 elements, right, these are basically the steps that employers, that clients, go through before they decide to work with you. So if I'm a client or if I'm an employer of labor and I am not aware of you, or if I search for your business or if I search for you online and I cannot find you, there's a problem there. Or if I even find you and I don't understand what you do and how you are unique, there's a problem there as well. Or even if I can find you and I'm aware of you, if I don't have an interest in what you do, or if what you are doing is not relevant to me, right, I definitely will not work with you. Or if you don't have that, or if you don't display professional expertise and I don't believe that you can really help me, we are not going to do business together. Across even physical meetings, when we go for interviews, when we are at networking events, when we are out there offline, online, it's this same principle, the same elements apply. So if one is not aware of you or your company, say for example, you are a salesperson and you attend an event, and then you just walk up to somebody and you're trying to give them your card, and the person doesn't know you or what you do, there is a very, very high probability that, that conversation will not go so well, or they will not do business from you, with you, until they are aware or, or they understand what you do. So all these steps are very, very necessary. And, I will show you how they apply and how they translate to using LinkedIn for marketing and career development. So now these are the 4 things that you need to demonstrate. So I'm going over these basics so that, because You know, there are so many courses out there about, you know, how to use LinkedIn and what you must do. But if you don't understand some of these fundamental things, like what people are looking for, how, you know, employers and clients, you know, think of the steps that they follow before hiring, you would literally be, you just be implementing some of these things, and you know, it would not really translate to results. And you know, if your goal is new business or sales, it would not really translate to any of that. So the 4 things you need to demonstrate are this. And for those of you that are saying, I mean, I did a post about it, you know, promoting this, and I mentioned these 4 things in that post. So 1 is you need to have a pitch, right? So all of these things will apply to LinkedIn as well when we get to, you know, so I'll take them one after the other and show you how it applies. So you need to have a pitch. You need to be able to communicate your value and your uniqueness. So you can see here, we talked about it, that employees or your clients need to understand what you do and how you are unique. So you have to have a pitch that communicates that, you know, communicate how you are unique and what you do. You understand? And 2, you need to have an online profile. Now, especially, I mean, because, you know, everybody, we don't even have a choice, you know, this COVID era and even post-COVID, you know, everything is going online. So it is now more important than ever, you know, that you have an online presence, you know, an online profile, not just a LinkedIn profile alone. You need to have a website, you know, you need to have very active, you know, social media presence, social media profiles, social handles, and they need to be up to date. And those profiles need to demonstrate, you know, that you are credible, experts, you know, or I mean,
keep losing the audio.
Hello, is it better now?
Guys, is it better? It's okay for me.
Is it better now?
Can you guys hear him? Is it better from your side? Okay.
Yes, you can hear him.
Okay, great. Keep going then.
Okay. All right then. So now I talked on the online profile. So I said it's very important, you know, especially this period, COVID and post-COVID, you know, as a lot of people don't have, I mean, there's really no other option, you know, than to go online for business and for every other thing that we need to do. So your online profile is very important. You need to have a website. It's not just your LinkedIn profile alone. You know, you need to have a website that, you know, clearly defines and shows, you know, what you're about, what you do, and is up to date, so that you can have that ability, you know, for people to know, like, and trust you, right? Then the 3rd is you need to publish. You need to be able to gain credibility through content. We are going to touch that in a bit. Then partnerships and relationships. You need to be able to structure and maintain relationships that benefit everyone involved. So now let's take this to LinkedIn. So yeah, so in the Excel that I was using to present before, like I broke down, there's a planner there. So when I share it with you, you have that. So remember I said that you need to have, you need to be able to demonstrate 4 different, you need to be able to demonstrate 4 particular things, you know, so that, you know, opportunities and clients and businesses can find you, right? So the first of them, if you remember, is your pitch. Your pitch is very important. So if you go to my profile, or if you go to anybody that has a very optimized profile, one of the things that you see there is, you know, there's content in this about area, this area here. So I said, if you come to your LinkedIn profile, you know, I want to show you how some of those things that we just discussed earlier, how it applies to your LinkedIn. So since we are talking about just LinkedIn alone here, right? So if you come to your profile, if you go to any profile that is well, optimized, that, so what you see is basically everyone that has an optimized profile makes use of this real estate, this space here, this about. So this is where your pitch comes in. If you remember the worksheet, what I showed you about the 4 things that you need to demonstrate. So you need to have a pitch that clearly communicates your value and your uniqueness in a way that influences and enrolls supporters into your project. So this space right here is where you do that. So you need to, even before coming to LinkedIn, to optimize your profile or to do anything to touch it, you need to sit down, and ask yourself, like, how do I clearly communicate my value and my uniqueness in a way that influences and enrolls supports? So some of the pointers I would give you for that is, if you have a pen, you can take it down, but I mean, it's going to be in the Excel sheet I'll share with you. So one is you need to position yourself as a clear, you need to position yourself clearly and credibly. I'll explain that. Then you need to articulate the problems that you solved and how you notice that problem. Then you need to extrapolate on the impact of the problem, and then you need to prove, that problem exists, and ask for what you want. So I would show you.
If I had something there, Kayode.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have something for academics here. So if you are a job seeker or you're an academic, this is the area. I call this place. You can do a little more here. But I believe there are 2 sessions. There's a first session that kind of shows who you are, and there's this other one. This is where you have the opportunity to have a 30-second elevator pitch. If you meet a CEO of a company today, and you want to work for that company, and you're just riding an elevator with that person, do you have that 30-second elevator pitch? So Kayode divided his own about into 3 sessions. So the first session, how I would group it is, that is where you want to put your 30-second elevator pitch. Maybe you have 10 years of experience, or you're a subject matter expert in so who have led a multi-million-dollar project, blah, blah, blah. That's where you want to put it, because the attention span of people these days are so low. So just skim through your about. Nobody has time to be reading long sentences. So the first thing they come across, you want to make sure that is actually communicating a large percent of what you want them to know. Who you have, where your area of focus is, how many years of experience do you have in this area? And then if you've worked on some projects that have very good milestones that you've covered, especially if you're no longer a career entrant, you're not just coming in, someone like me, you have a good amount of experience under your belt. You've done a good amount of new business startup development successfully. You want to use those keywords that make recruiters think you are the right person. They should continue this conversation. They should read that. So you want to put them in that first session. How I did mine is not perfect. I'm going to optimize it after that. The second area, I discussed a lot of my expertise there. So all my jargon, all my scientific jargon, I kind of put them in a way that is not too scientific. It's a little vague, right? But it's still very core. I put it there. Then my last portion, I put my awards and about STEM Hub. For them to kind of have a picture in their head that I'm not just all techie. I have other things in my life apart from techie that makes me a balanced person, that makes me someone who can lead something. So I am the founder of STEM Hub. I have won all of these awards to show what? To show influence. So if you want to hire someone, you want to make sure that, especially if you're trying to hire a director, you want to make sure they can influence people. So I put all my influence package awards related stuff to show that I'm a good person as my third area. So I really like how Kayode broke this down, but I wanted to keep that in for people like myself who are just very academic or they're looking for a job. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
You can go on.
All right. So let's use Adeola's profile.
Oh, it's
so we can make some corrections.
it's
so we
not.
can make corrections as we go.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, yeah, like she said, so if you're a job seeker or a career professional, I don't advise. I mean, you make your profile exactly like mine, especially the about section. But for business people, yes, it can look like that, because as a job seeker, your number one priority is your career. Getting career opportunities, getting a new job, meeting mentors and all that. So yeah, so if you're searching for a job or you plan to use LinkedIn, for career growth, you can follow this about section.
I would do.
So she
I'm going to be optimizing my LinkedIn today, Kayode. I already new picture. So,
all right.
anyone
All
who
right. So
look at it, maybe you should come back tomorrow. It will be better than this.
no, I mean, I like, I mean, this page is awesome. I think it's really, really done nicely. So if you can see my screen, you see the about. So basically, this is Dr. Adeola's page, right? So you can see everything there from what she does, how she's skilled, who she works with, everything is there. Academic contributions, where she has worked, everything is there. So basically, like I said, back to what I said before, people need to understand what you do. So number two, people need to understand what you do and how section, I can understand basically what Adeola does. I can understand how she's unique. I can see all her awards. I can see where she has worked. I can see everything about her. So I understand who she is, what she does, how she's unique, how she can help me. If she's relevant to me, definitely I'm going to reach out to her, and we would discuss business or partnership or any other thing. You understand? So you need to understand. You need to have these 6 elements at the back of 7 elements. Sorry, at the back of your mind, because these are these are the steps that people take before deciding to hire you or work with you. So I got some of the questions you were asking. Like one person asked that if they've been getting a lot of profile views and nobody has been contacting them. You understand? So if you've been getting profile views and you've not been contacted, for example, it might be that one of these 7 elements is missing. It might be that, okay, they know you, they are aware of you, they understand you, they have an interest in what you do, they respect you. It might just be that number 7 is not even right there yet. Maybe it is not time, or the time is not right, or they are not ready to engage you. So any of these 7 elements can be missing. But out of all the 7 elements, the only thing that you cannot control, is number 7. So because you cannot control, it's out of your control, to make somebody ready to engage you. If the person is ready, the person is ready. So if it's not time,
Kayode, we lost you again.
then everything will fall into place.
Okay.
So as you can see, so this is basically the pitch for Diola, and it looks fantastic. So now the second thing that we talked about that you need to demonstrate, you need to have a solid online profile, that allows you to be known, liked, and trusted in your industry. So if we go through this profile, right? So this is just one of Adeola's many profiles, right? She has also a I think you have a website, Adeola, right?
I actually don't. So next week, STEM Hub is hosting a web development class. So I'm hoping to get my website done next week for free by myself.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, I mean, it will be good if you have a website as well. I mean, because when people Google you, part of what they see first, apart from your LinkedIn, your Facebook, it's going to be your website as well. So it's good you have a website so that, you know, the online presence is, you know, strong. Because basically you are what Google says you are. So if anyone Googles you, let's say they have a job, you know, a vacant position they want to fill, or, you know, a business that they want to do with you, and they Google you and they can't find anything about you, you know, that's a big turn off, and it's something that can make or mar, you know, their decision. So that aside, so let's now go through this online profile, this LinkedIn profile, Adiola's profile.
Don't use my profile. So please use your profile. It's my oh God, no.
No, I can speak between my profile and yours. I mean, I just want to.
I feel like
so you can also make some corrections too.
Okay, I'm on my profile right now.
Okay, so okay, great. So okay, let me. Mine is still loading. Okay, great. So one of the things that, you know, I mean, a lot of times when I see some profiles online, right? There are so many things there that needs improvement, and I'm sure a lot of us also have, you know, a lot of people have not even logged in or, you know, checked or updated their profile, you know, in a very, very long time. So now this is, you can score yourself as we go along. So you can give yourself 1 point, then we'll add all the points together so you know how many points you scored and what is left for you to do. So now, if you have a profile and, you know, you don't have, so a profile photo, you know, something professional, a headshot photo, you know, because if you look at this space here for the profile photo, it's really, really small. So it will be very, very wrong of you to put a full photograph here. Because when you do that, when you put a full photo here, there's really nothing that people can see. And you cannot, you know, you cannot really zoom in, you know, on this picture. And it's very, very important, you know, that people can see your face. You know, people can see your face. So if you have a profile, if you don't have a profile picture, you know, that is 0 there. So if you have a profile picture, you can score yourself 2 points. So the profile picture is important, and, you know, for LinkedIn especially, it has to be a profile picture that that shows people that you are professional, right? Because it's a professional platform. So I'm not saying that you must wear a suit in your profile photo, you know, but if it depending on your industry and depending on your business, you know, dress accordingly, right? So if in your industry you wear shirts and jeans, right, and everybody knows that, you know, in that industry it's shirt and jeans that everyone wears, then it's okay that you can wear, you know, in your photo here, you know, the headshot photo here is just a shirt that is there, and, you know, you're smiling, your face is visible. You understand? But if you're a business person, you know, or you're in finance, you know, obviously you have to wear a suit. So dress according to your industry or your business category. So
Hello, can you all hear me?
if you have a business, hello?
Okay. Yes. All right. I think we're having difficulty admitting people. I'm getting a lot of notifications that they can be admitted. I'll try and figure that out. And Kayode, you can keep going.
Okay. So yeah, so the background here is an opportunity for you to advertise yourself. You can advertise your business. You know, it's as simple as going to canva.com, designing a background image, And if you click on the this button here, it would actually show you the size of the image. The network is slow. So I mean, it will show you the size, so you can design something, you know, and add an image here. So you can size 1584 by 396. So you can design a banner here. So it's always good that you use this space to, you know, advertise yourself or promote your personal brand or promote your business, right? So a lot of people, instead of using this space, you know, they would rather go on social media and, you know, post promotional updates and say buy, buy, buy. But I mean, meanwhile, you have a space like this where you can easily, you know, write a lot of, you know, things about yourself. You can even leave your website, you know, put a phone number, you know, because the LinkedIn profile, you know, is very is one of the ways that people get to stumble up on you online. Because let me as a I mean, I think it's obvious, it's not even a secret, you know, LinkedIn is highly search engine friendly. So I mean, even your own personal website would not rank as highly as your LinkedIn profile will rank when somebody Googles you. So if you Google yourself right now and you know you have a LinkedIn profile and you set it up well, you would see it there as the #1, you know, search results on Google. So imagine when people are Googling you and they land on your LinkedIn profile, and basically from even the cover photo alone, they can easily get a clear picture of what exactly you do and how to reach you. You understand? So it's this space is very important. And as Adiola said, it takes 30 seconds or less to make an impression. So if I come on your profile, you know, from Google, for example, you know, if I don't see anything that makes me understand what you do and how you are unique, you know, you've lost me as a client or as an employer. So, I mean, let me just quickly walk through some of the basics of an optimized LinkedIn profile. So as I said, you need to have this, you need to have a profile photo, you need to add, you know, a summary. So your summary is also known as your about there. So it has to have your pitch. So you need to have your pitch there. So as a business owner, you can talk about your business, you know, talk about the problems that your business solves, you know, and how you what you do for your customers, how you are unique, you know, all that pitch should do here. Then make sure that you have your experience section. You know, it's very important that you add previous experience, because a lot of people want to know, like, how did you start from, where did you know, what are your previous experience. So it's not enough that you have your present experience. You need to add as many past experiences as you can, with dates, you know, and make sure that when you're adding them, you know, you are adding the company profile so that the photo of their logos show. Very important. So make sure you add your educational history as well. So if you have licenses and certifications, make sure you add them as well. It's very important. So I see a lot of, you know, career professionals or a lot of job seekers, they don't attach their certifications, and you have a lot of certificates, you know, and it's just sitting there idle. You can scan it and attach it to your LinkedIn. So it's as simple as clicking a button and then attaching, so you can upload it, you know, and put it there. Put the name of the organization that issued you, the name of the certificates, you know, add all those things there. There is very.
Hello.
About down to the experience and licenses. This is basically you talking about yourself. So, but from this part, these skills and endorsements is what others are saying or have said about you. So it's very important that you have skills and endorsements. Where are my endorsements? This is strange. Okay, so 1 minute. Hello, are we together?
Hi, Kayode, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. If you before you move on to what others can contribute, if it's okay, I want to share a few points with our audience about how they can optimize theirs before others kind of participate in helping them. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm not a LinkedIn expert. I'm a researcher. So everything I try to do, I do research on those things properly and kind of understand that LinkedIn has a psychology to it. I want to share a few of those psychology with us so that we can kind of maximize our LinkedIn, especially as professionals. So some of the things that I found out that have helped me is standard titles. So I want to talk about you. How do you present yourself? So I found out that in different parts of the world, what we call the same job could differ. So in Canada, we call immigration judge adjudicator. In other places, they call them an immigration judge. So if you work for a company now, and the company has a standard title that does not align with what the industry calls your title, when you go on your LinkedIn, you want to try to do what your company calls you / what the industry calls you. Because if a recruiter is trying to look for you or look for someone with your type of skill set and you have a title that is not standard, definitely they are not going to find you, right? So if you have studied something, so you have to pay attention to what is standard title in my field. Am I using those right titles? Because when recruiters or people in businesses are looking for people like me, am I searchable? Really, that's one thing I want to leave with you. Another point that I gathered is making sure that you are not only just on LinkedIn for being their sake, right? You have to understand that LinkedIn is not like Google where there's ranking, where or people rank based on maybe SEOs. On LinkedIn, there's no SEOs. What their SEOs, which is called velocity. So their velocity on LinkedIn, their algorithm, how it chooses people or rank you depends on two things. Connection is one of them. So I always tell people, if you're a professional, you need at least 500 professionals in your field that you need to connect to. And it's not because you want to connect to them as figurehead, it's because of the psychology behind that. So if a recruiter from JP Morgan is looking for an accountant, and when they put in accountant into their timeline or whatever that search place is, the first set of accountants that will show up are those ones that work in the same company as them, or those people together or something like that. Those are the first people that will come up. Then those are their first, right? On LinkedIn, you are ranked as first, second, or third. So those are their first connections. Those are the ones that come up first. The second connection that will come up are people connected to those that are connected to them. So if you are connected to somebody that is connected to that recruiter, then you have a better chance to show up in their search. So if you don't have a lot of professionals that you are connected to, and people who are connected to them are looking for someone like you, then you don't have an opportunity to be visible. So it's not only about having large crowd on LinkedIn, having the right crowd it matters greatly. So you have to ask yourself, you need to look through your LinkedIn profile. How many professionals do I have that we are in the same field? Number 3 is participation matters on LinkedIn. So I have seen that when I don't really post on LinkedIn, right? But I see a lot of people's what they comment on, right? And LinkedIn has a good advantage that Instagram and Facebook and wherever doesn't have. If you comment on somebody's post, that post automatically show up to your audience, right? So it doesn't matter whose post it is. It will show up on all of your audience, right? So you need to start participating in good discussion. So if you're a techie person like myself, there's an additive manufacturing conference, there's an article that somebody dropped, it's very interesting. You need to structurally and constructively be liking and commenting on people's posts. So when people see those activities, they kind of click on those posts, and in some cases, they will come back and click on your post. Why is that important? For searchability, it matters that you have a good amount of profile views. The number of profile views that you have will help with searchability. So if you have less amount of profile views, people are not going to be able to search you adequately. So when you don't comment on people's posts, nobody's going to be viewing your profile. And if people don't view your profile, your searchability is going to be really, really low. So try it. I know LinkedIn, I myself, I'm so scared. I hardly comment on LinkedIn because all of these people, all of these professional people, VPs and all of this people are following me. But at the same time, I also want to be searchable. So I try my best to like, even if I can't comment, to like constructive posts or posts that I think are relatable or posts that I think this is something hot in my career or people are talking about or conferences. So please hop your game on LinkedIn when it comes to participation, because this aids your searchability. Another point that I want to make is, all right, so we've talked about all of these things and I'm wondering, all right, yes, I'm doing my best on LinkedIn. What else can I do on LinkedIn? So I have a few things that I wrote down on that I want to share before we continue. So LinkedIn expects that you publish something. I know you want to use LinkedIn as a host, right? You have to use LinkedIn as a host platform. So you have to post often. And don't just post all those published articles. Posting on your timeline on LinkedIn gets more view than all those long articles that you write. So if you're a professional or something like that, I want to encourage you to start to write some posts because it makes you look credible. It makes you look like a subject matter expert. And when recruiters or anybody, when they're looking through your post, it encourages them to kind of contact you. So those are the ones that I want to share for now, and I will shut up. Thank you, Kayode, for allowing me.
Thank you, Diola, for bringing up those valid points. I was getting there, but I mean, it's good as you mentioned it. So, like she said, if you do a search for anyone on LinkedIn, like the way recruiters search or the way clients search for people to work with is very, very simple. So what they do is they just come to the search bar and then they search for the particular person that they need. So for example, if I was looking for an accountant, I can just come here and search for accountants, right? So when I put that and I search for accountants, so the only people, I mean, the first few people that I will see, you know, on the search results are these people that have accountants somewhere on their profile, right? So they either have it on their headline or, you know, inside, you know, their job experience section. So as you can see it here, this person has it in the job experience and he has it on the headline as well. So, you know, these are some of the few people that would first show up. So it is very, very important that, which is what I was coming to in the profile.
Well, I can't see your page. Can everybody else see the page?
Can everyone else see my page?
Yes.
Should I take that again?
Don't worry, I'm good. If everyone else can see, I'm good.
It's clear, we can see.
Should I take that again?
No, don't
take that again.
Don't bother taking it.
So good. So yeah, so you can see the search term I use on their headline and within their profile. So it's very, very important also when you are optimizing your profile that you should have, you know, those particular search terms in your profile as well. So there's a place here called headline. So this is where most of the search terms that are visible in that result would be seated. So if you want to be found for accountant, for example, search term there, because basically, as you saw from the example I did, those are the things that showed up. So your title here in your experience should carry those particular search terms that you want to be found for. So if you're a marketer or you're a salesperson, you should find a way to add those search terms, that you want to be found for in the headline section and in the experience title section. So it should be there. So as I was saying before, so you should have skills and endorsements as well. So basically from the top here down to this particular place, it is you talking about yourself. But now these two sections here, the recommendation and skills and endorsements, is what others are saying about you. And you know that basically we make decisions not based on what other people say about themselves, but we make decisions, based on what other people say about the particular person that we want to work with. So if I wanted to hire a business development manager, for example, I'm not going to hire you based on what you say about yourself. I would reach out to your former workplace and ask, oh, what are they saying about this person? I'll ask for a reference. That's the same thing with skills and endorsements. So it's very, very important that you add skills and make sure you get, your past colleagues, or your boss, or, people that have worked with you to endorse them and, write you recommendations. So a recommendation is basically a review of what you've done. So if you performed well, if you know that, where you worked before, or maybe even where you volunteered, or maybe where you served, or even your past clients that you've worked with. If you really did a good job for them, then you should ask them for a recommendation. So it's as simple as just coming to LinkedIn and clicking ask for a recommendation. Then it will ask you who do you want to ask. Then you can just enter in the person's name. So if you put the name there, you just choose the person, and then you can send the recommendation to such a person. So it's very, very important. These are some of the small, minute details that makes it, that creates credibility for you as a professional or as a business person. Because one of the things that builds credibility and trustworthiness is basically knowing that other people have worked with you in the past, and these are some of the good things that they can say about you. So if you cannot demonstrate that, then there's no way, like I said, that you can use your profile, there's no way you can use your profile to communicate, to be known, liked, and trusted. You understand? So it's very, very important that we have all of these little details, captured in the profile. So, with all of this in place, the only thing that is left now is for you now to start publishing. So like Adiola said, it's very, very important that you participate on the platform. So you need to participate on the LinkedIn platform. You need to publish, create content. It's as simple as, going to linkedin.com and, sharing your ideas. So if you don't even have your own ideas, or maybe you are shy, or, you can also contribute, to ongoing discussions on LinkedIn. So for example, I can come down here and comment on this, opinion or impression about whatever topic is out there. So now, one very, very good strategy that I use for my clients and I advise them, to also use is, so if you have people that you are trying to do business with, right, it's very, very important. So I'll show you how to find them. So it's very, very important that once you found them, you should engage with them as well, because that creates, rapport and likability. And if you now do that, maybe you are one of the only few people that commented or liked or shared. Trust me, if you do that for, just some, days or even a week, the person will start to notice you. And then, when you reach out to the person, you don't look like a stranger, and then, you can build rapport and establish relationships. So there are two ways, that you can use to find potential clients on LinkedIn or even potential employees. But before then, I want us to go through. Let us. I mean, because a lot of one thing I've noticed, is a lot of business people and a lot of even career professionals do not have like specific ideal target audience. So who are you trying to reach? Who are you trying to sell to? It's very, very important that you know those particular people. So if you have a pen and paper there, so let me ask you a couple of questions that will help you, guide your process of identifying, your ideal customers. Because when you can find your ideal customers, then you can easily, or when you know your ideal customers, you can easily find them on LinkedIn. So if you see here on this sheet, I have already outlined, this is my ideal customer profile. So it's very, very important that you should be able to, state clearly who are the kind of customers, or what kind of employers do you want to work with? What industry are they in? What's geography? What's the company size? What are the job title of the people, the contact people that you're supposed to be networking with? What are their pain points? What is the offer that you can make to them? What are the expected results, and what are the benefits of having you on their side? These are the things that are very, very key, to communicating, like I said, these are, if we still have to, like, I always, want us to come back here so that we can see, because this is very, very key, the elements that represent the steps that customers or employers take before they decide to work with you. So it's very, very important that you can communicate, and they understand what you do and how you are relevant to them. So that is, so number 3 and number 4, you have to know that you're relevant and you're of potential value to them, and they have to believe that you can help them. So if you don't know who you're trying to reach, then how would you know how to, impress them, or how to, communicate with them? So it's very, very important that we get who our ideal customers or ideal employers are. So for your ideal customer or your ideal employer, you need to ask yourself, these 3 or 4 questions. Number 1, in an ideal world, right? In an ideal world, imagine that you could have anything. Which companies, would you like to work with? So you can take a sheet of paper, write them down, write, as many as, you can think of. Which organizations would you like to work with, in an ideal world? Or which businesses would you like to do business with in an ideal world? So that's the first question. And second question is, which organizations, have you worked with in the past that you did your best, work for? I mean, that you're proud of the work that you did for them, and they also can testify, to the great work that you did for them. So you can list those organizations down. If you volunteered somewhere, you did your best work, and they are, they can, they can recommend you anytime, any day. List those companies down that you've done that kind of work for. So now, what you now do is
just a time check. We have 25 more minutes on the program.
25 minutes. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not enough
quickly.
time. We also have some questions already waiting.
Okay.
For the people on the call, please drop your questions, and we'll start taking them shortly. Thank you.
Okay, great. So without wasting time, so now what you now do is now look at the similarities between
Hello, Kayode, we can't hear you.
of these.
Oh, we can hear him again.
Hello, can you hear me now?
We can hear you again.
Now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. So I said with those 2, if you've answered those 2 questions that I asked, you should be able to compare and contrast those 2 sets of companies that you've listed out, and identify the common industries that they are in, the geography, the company size, the job title of the people within those companies you worked with, their pain points, and some of the results that you're able to get for them. So with that, you should be able to fill this out. So why this ideal customer profile is important is because on LinkedIn, it helps you be able to narrow down and find those particular customers. So here now I can come to LinkedIn and search. I can search for my ideal customers based on those particular criteria, and search by industry. So if I know the industry of the people I'm trying to reach, I can search their industry. If I know the companies, I can put the company name here. I can search based, so it makes your approach to reaching out to people more targeted. So instead of trying to connect with everybody, you are connecting with those ideal set of people that can that you can deliver for, and that that resemble the kind of people that you have worked with in the past and you would love to work with in an ideal situation. So let's use that then.
That's great. I have never used that filter before. I actually didn't know I could streamline my search.
So you can streamline, yes, you can streamline your search, and you get specific set of people. And then when you've gotten them, you can connect with them, message them, follow them, interact with their posts, build rapport, build a relationship. So I said it's important that you build partnerships and relationships. It's very, very important, especially during this COVID and post-COVID era. It's partnerships and relationships that would allow businesses and professionals to survive, right? So this is another tool that I use. It's called Sales Navigator. This is a very, very powerful tool. If you can afford it as a business, if you can subscribe to it as a business person, please do. With this tool, I can reach anybody on LinkedIn. I don't even have to be connected to them. So I basically have to enter their geography, their title, their industry. Based on your ideal customer profile, you can search for anybody, and without connecting to them with them, you can send them a message. So I can basically send anybody a message, and if I have, if I want to build rapport with them, or if I want to pitch my services, or if I want to, connect with them, we can go on from there. So it's very, very key that we know who our ideal customers and we have their profile. Very, very important. So you need to have something like this where you can list, the industries, the geography, because it's going to be important. It's going to be useful when you are trying to filter down. So, I mean, there's a lot more that I can talk about, running out to. So basically everything I've covered is just the organic way around using LinkedIn. So there's the paid way. If you have money to spend, you can actually run adverts. So basically you can just come down here and click advertise. So you can run adverts on LinkedIn. You can promote your goods and services. So I always advise people that instead of shamelessly promoting your products on your LinkedIn page, you can instead run an advert, and you would get sales and new businesses that way. So, but if you want to go organically, the best route is by networking and building relationships. So building relationships, building partnerships. Business, if you network with somebody that offers a complementary product, both of you can promote each other. So you can promote the person can promote you. You can partner with somebody to create a product, relationships, and partner and move on. So, but basically, you need to have these 7 elements in mind, because these are the process. This is based on design thinking. This is what we've over time noticed, that these are the 7 steps that people take, clients, employers take before making a decision to hire or work with you. So you need to have it in mind. So everything, your strategy, your tactics has to be centered on what they are doing if you want to get the best results. So if it's awareness, you have to make sure that people are aware of you. You have to have like you need to have at least 500 to 1,000 connections.
Sorry.
Yeah, so like Adiola said, you need to have at least 500 to 1,000 LinkedIn connections. So connect with as many people as possible. Make sure they are aware of you. But it's also very, very important that your targets, your ideal customers are aware of you. They have to know your business. They have to understand what you do. They have to know how you're unique. So whatever you do, make sure you have these 7 elements, at the back of your mind. And with all this in mind, to guide whatever strategy that you're putting in place. So while you're writing content as well, even when you're putting up content on your post, make sure that the content allows people to understand what you do and how you are unique. Make sure that the content you're putting out there shows that you're an expert, and it shows that you're credible and you are a thought leader, you're a professional, you're an expert, you know what you're saying, what people can buy into your ideas and believe that you can help them. So with this 3 points of mine,
hello.
I would like. Hello.
Yes. Before
hello,
you leave,
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Before you leave content, I want to give our audience a few tips that I have used that have helped me. That I also researched. I feel like it's useful. Is it okay if I go on?
Yes, go on.
Okay, so the first tip is on pitching. So content is very powerful. If you're a marketer or you're trying to expand your network on LinkedIn, what I have found is that, in my inbox, right, people just send me all these messages that are not personalized. I skim through your whatever you post on my LinkedIn, right? If you send me a DM. But the issue with unpersonalized email messages or emails is they'll never get any response. So as someone who is trying to, you want to get people to buy your product or at least give you a chance to talk to them, I think really trying to personalize those relationships or those emails are very, very critical. One thing I've also seen is people you had me and in 30 seconds, you're already sending me a pitch. That doesn't work. So you can't have someone today. This is for someone who's trying to sell a product or market their brand. You can't have me today and without knowing me, you already have something you want to offer me. Things don't work like that. So I would say before you pitch anything to people, give them a week. Use 1 solid week to research about them. Go on their page. Go and also find them if they have social media, like other places linked to their profile. You want to go and check. Do they have Instagram? What is their last post on Instagram? And is that something that you can use to start that conversation with them on LinkedIn? Before you try to sell them something, you want to make sure you know them. So 90% of the pitches that go into our inboxes don't get responses because they're unpersonalized. So my first area on that is pitch by personalizing your information that you're trying to send to people on LinkedIn. Don't just bombard them. And don't do it the 30 seconds after having them. Give it some time. Give it maybe a week or a few days, and so that it's going to be easier to get them to respond to you. Then the second one that I want to talk about apart from that is making sure that when we appear on LinkedIn, we're not just there for, okay, I'm here, I'm just kind of reading different people's articles. When you want to write your own articles, how do you make it get engagement, right? Because I see some people's posts on LinkedIn, it goes viral and they don't have more than 500 people. Then you're wondering, what did they do? I think how I have seen it, or it has also worked for me. So one of my posts that got the best or the most view was when I wanted to give a TED Talk, I think 2 years ago. So I went on LinkedIn and I personalized my TED Talk. And when you personalize any information you are sharing on LinkedIn, people can relate to it. So if you're trying to share any post, you can start with asking a question. When you ask a question with your post, people will respond and they'll read it. If you personalize it, it's something that they can relate to, they will read it. Personalizing could be you're sharing about your fears, about your children, about a trip you went on. As part of the message you are passing, if you do that, that post will get views. People will respond to it. The number 3 point that I had written down is you can promote your LinkedIn post. So you have posted something, because velocity, the algorithm that they use, if you post something right now, the faster you get engagement, the more dominant your post would be. So if you post something on LinkedIn, copy that, take it to Facebook, send it to emails in your mailing list. Let within 30 minutes of that post being up, blast it everywhere. So it will get more clicks. And the more it gets clicks in the beginning, the more your post is going to stay afloat. So it could be afloat for 2 weeks on LinkedIn and it's still visible. Why? Because you got velocity very, very quickly in the early positioning of that post. The next thing that I want to talk about is there are hot topics, right? Right now, the oil and gas industry is down, right? That's a hot topic for professionals in oil and gas industry. If you write a post, if that's your area, and then you write a post about that, it's going to generate a lot of comments because people are afraid for their jobs. People are really wondering, when is the oil crisis going to be over? You want to target hot topics. So you're a professional in that field. You want to show up at somebody who cares about your field, who is knowledgeable and up to date about your field, who has read a lot of articles and have some information to offer because you're a subject matter expert on that. So target those hot topics, topics about what you do. I'm not saying you should always just personalize things, but these topics are relevant to all of us. Even if you're not like a guru, come up with something that makes sense, engageable, so that people can, once they engage your post, they'll view your profile. We talked about profile views previously. And once you start to build that level of confidence, like Kayode said, they have to see you as an expert, somebody that has value to offer. Once they start to engage your post, they'll click on your page. Before you know it, people trust you a lot more. When recruiters also come to your page, they see all of this engagement. It helps them trust you. Also, people who want to give you some jobs or who wants to give you opportunities, they look at your page. They see all this engagement. I told you guys how I found Kayode. His posts are so engaging. They're relatable. The things that are, they make me feel like this guy really know what he's doing. Right. Present yourself this way, and I can promise you, I think it will be, you would be able to leverage LinkedIn more than you have done before now. Okay, I'll shut up again. If you have question, you can unmute yourself and just say it out, because there's so much here that I need to scroll through. Anyone has question that want to share right now?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Shegun Fa. I'm very happy with this training, and
Please
I've been following.
Please, we only have 10 minutes left. Thank you.
Okay. My question is about online certificates. How far can he work with employment or getting people on LinkedIn?
Okay, thank you. All right, Kayode, do you want to take that?
Hello?
Kayode, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, I lost you. I lost you there for a minute.
Okay, he was asking that your certification, how does that help you with your job search or your career advancement if you show them off on LinkedIn?
Okay, great. That's a good one. Great. So I said, so you asked a very good question. So I said, of recent, I have been doing recruiting. Basically, I just use only LinkedIn for recruiting. And what I do basically, if I want to, if there's any business person that wants to recruit with LinkedIn, so you can see this. So basically, I just go and post a job on LinkedIn. So you can click on jobs here. So you just click post a job, right? So it takes you to the platform, the LinkedIn job talent solution platform. So one thing I noticed, and I'll show you here, so you see all of the all of the applications I got after posting the jobs. So you can see why you need to have all those things. It is very, 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 very glaring to the recruiter when you don't have all those things in your platform. So I'll show you here. So it's not just you will see it by yourself as a job seeker. You will see a lot of things this evening. 1 minute. So let me go to manage jobs. So you see all the jobs that I've posted. Network. Okay. So let's just check one of these. Let's just use this. Company legal secretary.
Kayode, we don't have a lot of time, and we have a lot of questions.
Okay. I just want to go through. Yeah. So basically, this is what this is how recruiters see your profile. So they can basically go through. So I had a lot of applicants apply for this job. So basically, I can go through your profile like this. As you can see, this is basically somebody's profile, you know. So I can go through it. This is the same thing that recruiters see, right? So from this, I can see that a lot of things are not clear about this person, you know. I can't see how this person is suitable for this role. So if from your profile I don't see anything, you know, there are no certifications here. There is no, you know, nothing except for the person's, you know, university education. There's really nothing to say if this person, you know, qualifies for this role. So I might as well just reject it. So this is why it's very, very important, right? This is why it's very, very important that we have all of these things, you know, listed, because the way the recruiters will say it, everything becomes glaring to them. So if you apply for a job position or if you reach out to a recruiter, you know, they can basically see your profile. So if what you are saying you are, if you cannot show it and say, okay, I am qualified for this position, it's not just by saying I am qualified, but if I cannot see evidence that backs up your claim, if I cannot see your certifications, for example, or
Hello. Hello. Hello.
first things people check. Hello?
Kayode, can we move on to other questions, please? So the moral of the story is you have to, the way you present yourself is the way you will be addressed, right? If you want to present yourself as an expert in something,
yes.
You need to do your market research, right? Market research, know what skill set is required and put that up on your LinkedIn if you have that. There's a question here about, can you curate what people find when they Google you? So is that something you can answer? So when they Google us, can we curate what we found? Is that something you can answer?
Yes, you can actually. You can. But the idea behind Googling stuff is Google actually does not show you the same results that you would see. I mean, that others see when they Google you. So Google personalizes results. So if you want to see what other people are saying, try and Google yourself in incognito mode, you know, and then you get an idea what people are saying when they Google your name. So Google yourself in incognito mode and you get an idea. So you can basically just see all of the things that people see when they Google you. And it's very, very important. So one of the things you see are, I mean, number one there would be your LinkedIn profile. If you have a good LinkedIn profile, it will appear there, you know, and then people can click through and see everything about you. And, you know, if they want to work with you, they like what they see, they approach you.
Okay. So, guys, I'm sorry that we will not be taking more questions because we have 3 more minutes and we need to still do the remaining housekeeping. Well, I want to thank our guest, Kayode. Thank you so much for making the session so practical. Thank you for, you know, not just giving us slides, you know, showing us really how we can go back and really optimize our LinkedIn. We're really thankful for that. We have recorded this session. We recorded it because we want you to have access to a part of it. So We will put together a part of it that our guest wants us to release to the audience, and we will share that with you as our audience. So next week, guess what? If you're a professional, one of the things Kayode said we need to have is our website, right? If you don't have a website, don't worry. You don't need to know how to code. I don't know how to code. So come back next week, Saturday, and get your 2-3 pages website so we can go attach it to that LinkedIn, optimize what is seen about us, and really, you are your brand. You are your brand, and you are a brand. So you don't need to be a product before you're a brand. You're a professional, you're a business owner, you are your brand. So next week, come back and let's give you the opportunity to make your own website all on us, STEM Hub Foundation. So before we go today, if you want to have access to the slides that Kayode shared with us, please drop your emails so that we can be able to send you that. In the beginning, I talk about a competition. So we want you to mention 5 things that you learned from this webinar today on LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram. Please use the poster where we have Kayode's picture. Use that and put hashtag Kayode Abass, hashtag STEM Hub Foundation, and we will be rewarding the best 5 with $20 each of their gift card. Lastly, please follow Kayode Abass on Instagram, on LinkedIn. As a professional, we need to connect to one another. So one of your assignments that you're taking home today is find 500 professionals in your field and follow them. You need to follow 500 professionals in your field, not just professionals, but those ones in your field. Kayode has told us how to target the people we want to follow or work with. Get them done this week. Please, we need your feedback, right? We need your feedback because our team has been putting a whole lot of work into this weekly skill acquisition program. We want to hear your shout outs, and you get some money incentive because of that. Follow STEM Hub Foundation because that's how you know what's going to happen in the subsequent week. We are partnering with Niger Acts, now Africa Acts. And for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be bringing you really serious tech skills, from website development to app development to data analytics and data science classes. We want to make sure that post-lockdown, you are positioned well for the jobs of the future. So stay tuned, and please make sure you're connected to us on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. You can connect to me too. My name is Adiola Olubamiji on most platforms. On Instagram, and I'm Dr. Olubamiji. I also kind of have my weekly rant about career advancement. So follow me so you can get more of these goodies. Again, thank you so much, Kayode, for sharing with us. We know that people pay you $1,000 for this session that you have given to us for free. We are very thankful to you for impacting our audience today. Audience, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on every week. As you know, today I wasn't able to admit some people because this is a new platform that we are trying out. I'll get better at using it, and hopefully next week, whoever have interest in joining will be able to join easily without me having any glitch. Thank you all. Kyle, did you have any last words for us before we leave?
Finally, I just want to say that which is something I've noticed a lot. So please don't just take this information and not use it. It's very, very important that the first 20 minutes, the first 20 minutes after you leave this session is very, very key. Because if you don't start practicing it immediately, procrastination will set in, and before you know it, you don't put thing that you've learned into good use. So please, as soon as you leave here, start practicing, start doing everything that you learned here. Name across every platform: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I look forward to getting your questions, your issues, your inquiries, and stay safe and stay healthy. God bless.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Kayode, for a wonderful session today. Our host, our audience, until next week, Saturday. My name is Dr. Adeola Olubamiji with STEM Up Foundation, and this is goodbye for now. Thank you all.